Good morning, good morning. Welcome to 4x8 Paper Stuff. This is Beth. Welcome to My Time to Journal, an untrained person playing with lots of art supplies and having fun. Join me. Good morning. I'm talking in real time here, and I used to do it a lot, but my process is taking a lot longer than it usually had before, and it turns into an hour video, and an hour video every day is insane. Even I know that. Filming every day is insane. I know that too, but it's part of my artistic outlet, and it's a habit, and I love it. So I'm going to talk to you in real time. One of the reasons is because, and I smashed both fingers yesterday, and my nails are horrible because I used gel nails for about a month, and it's ripping the layers of nail off, and everything is breaking, and blah, 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 blah. Anyhow, okay. So, I am doing this for another reason, because I have several new subscribers, and I want to say welcome and talk to you and tell you a little bit about me. For the people that have been here forever, here we go again. But this is part of YouTube, right? Right. First of all, what are we doing? He being Michael Palin. I do this because, number one, I'm not traveling right now, although I just did, but it was a quick trip, 5-day trip. And he did these TV shows on the BBC in the late 1990s and early 2000s. And he wrote books that corresponded with the trips. And I like watching them. I watch them on YouTube. I don't know if they're sanctioned by YouTube as far as being pirated, possibly. I'm not getting into any of that part. So I just like watching his sense of adventure, sense of communicating with other people and other cultures, and the things he encounters, and his sense of humor. I like all of that. And so I have traveled with him vicariously through these books. And since we're not traveling, this is a way to do a travel journal, which I absolutely love. I started out as a scrapbooker. I did 12 by 12 scrapbooks. Until I ran out of room to store all those scrapbooks. Sorry. I have a frog in my throat. It's horrible weather here today. Here being in South Carolina. Lost my train of thought. That's what happens when you get old. I live in a tiny house, a little 3-bedroom house. We live on a beautiful lake in the middle of South Carolina, and we go back and forth in the winter to a beach house in Myrtle Beach, and we just finished for the winter. We rent it from April till September 30th, and we use it from October 1st to March 31st. And so I'm back home. It's horrible weather. The beach house, I can't store the books at because it's rented and part of the year. And then here, I have several places that I keep them, but they're full. About that time that I said, where am I going to put any more scrapbooks? And I'm lucky enough to be able to travel. I've been all around a lot of places in the world, and I love to travel. I taught my husband how to travel. He did not know how to travel. He thought you just went to the beach. That's typical of South Carolina mentality. As much as it used to be, but it was. And I taught him, no, you can go. I grew up traveling. We went camping. I grew up in California. We went camping everywhere. Luckily, we were on the west part of the country, and there's tons of stuff to do. So about that time that I was running out of room, I discovered a traveler's notebook, and I had some stuff leftover ephemera bits that I collect on trips, because I collect everything on a trip. And I had a box of stuff that I had been working on a trip that I did in Israel. So the first traveler's notebook I ever did was Israel. And I have it here someplace because I'm going to do a flip through. Since I have so many new people, I was going to do some flip throughs, but I'm going to wait till I finish this journal. Kind of do a rehash of me after this journal a little bit. So I fell in love with this size. It's square, so it's like a 12 by 12 in that respect. I don't know if doing them in these little journals and paper, it seems to be more freeing, and I love mixing media into it, and I fell in love, and it's been a rabbit trail ever since, and that was probably 6-ish years ago, possibly 6-ish years ago. Of course, YouTube is ever so inspiring. My favorite people on YouTube, I like different types for different reasons. I love Amy Tangerine. Sorry, that's who I love. Some people think she's too gushy, wishy nice. I don't. I find her very inspiring and very positive and blah, blah, blah. Allie Edwards, Job's Journal, My Life Mitts, James Burke, Bai Bun, all for different reasons and different aspects that I try to encompass into my journals. I love Robin McClendon for many different reasons. Anyhow, so that's me in a nutshell. Today, our journaling, we're getting towards the end of this book. There's a tiny little dog under here that is missing his daddy because he went today to do some work, and the dog is freaking out because the dog is attached to my husband. So if you hear dog barking, it's Gunner, and he's right here. He's right under this table, right here. And there's a little nose right here. Are you right here? Yes. I'm going to show you. I'll show you where he is. Gunner. Hello. 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 Okay, we're going to go back to art, okay? Let me see if I can get this back up without making you completely and utterly dizzy. Okay. So he's into Libya now, which I think in the early 2000s was a precarious spot to be. So he doesn't spend a lot of time here, and he flew there. He didn't try to travel across the desert to get there. So he says he's at Tobruk, where the Sahara meets the Mediterranean Sea, and we are less than 250 miles from the Greek mainland, closer to Europe than at any time since leaving Gibraltar. 150 miles the other way to the south is the Great Sand Sea, a massive wilderness of parallel sand ridges, hundreds of feet high, rolling across the desert like waves in a hurricane. I just thought that was very poetic. And yes, I did another tip in. So I'm kind of juxtapositioning blue and brown, the sand in the Mediterranean, and we're going to go from there. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have pulled out a couple pieces of paper from my stash, some printables, some stuff that same old thing, magazine pieces. This is, I think, part of what I've been using on my titles on my YouTube channel, which I did on Procreate. This is a printable from Robin McClendon. There is somebody scratching my stomach. This is from a Mark Twain journal that I did, probably this time last year. But it's a photocopy of a page that I did that day, and I'm going to use this as our Mediterranean. This came from something, I don't know, but I found it in my envelope of stuff. I just tore out a bunch of stuff out of some magazines, but that might happen. I love text and different fonts. This is a Robin McClendon printable out of a journal that she got somewhere at a flea market. So let's just see what happens, okay? Because I don't have a clue. And I'm going to go fast forward now. Because I don't know how long this is going to take. And I don't want to keep you here forever. I know we all have lives. So, and it's pouring outside. But at least it's washing the pollen off our cars. This time of year in South Carolina, everything is a lime green, covered, including the dog. He's kind of suffering too, which he's only a year and a half old. Well, not even quite a year and a half. But last year he was so tiny at this time of year, we weren't really sure how he was going to react with pollen this year. And it kind of aggravates him. He's a Havanese, so he has long fur. But he misses his dad. So, okay. Enough about dogs. Let's go back to the Sahara Desert. Okay, I'm going to go fast forward. Thank you. Welcome all new people. I'm so glad you're here. I don't do this for subscribers. I do this for our community. So feel free to leave me comments. I will try to respond to you. I look at the comments like once a day. So if I'm slack on that, I apologize. I'm not technically savvy at all, but I'm going to try to be better. That was my goal for 2022, is to try to do a few more technical things on my channel, as far as like making a, what do they call those things where the title is? Anyhow, see, I don't even know what it's called. Anyhow, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Let's get going. Okay, here we go. I did have to speed up a little bit, otherwise we would be here for hours. Well, not hours, but it's pouring down rain, as you can see, and the dog is having issues. He doesn't like to get his paws wet, and the pollen is actually becoming a little bit of an issue for him. Hopefully it's just temporary. So he's done things from both ends today. Yay, yay, yay. So I keep having to stop in the middle of all of this. I've stopped twice already while I've been filming this, and waiting on a phone call too. Of course, for some reason, my phone does not ring while I'm filming, because I film on my phone. And so it was just chaos, chaos, chaos. So anyhow, I took this picture that's a printable from Robin McClendon, and I took this that I made when I did Around the World, and with Mark Twain, I think, around the equator. And it's going to represent the Mediterranean. The bottom layer represents the sand, and we're going to go from there, but I'm not sure what else I'm going to do. I did get out some of my favorite supplies, which are those little tiny 1-inch books. I don't know why I'm fascinated with that little size, but I am. And I'm out of frame here a little bit, but I'm making a tiny blue cluster on the front side, or the back side, whatever you want to say, of the journaling spot to tip in. Adding a little bit of blue, adding some of those round circle dots, those rocks that are there. I used to prop up my iPad when I'm watching something as I'm arting, but they were in the way, so I had to get to my little dots. So anyhow, I'm looking for the similar color palettes in some of these other little 1-inch books, and just tearing apart that other piece of paper that I used, that I photocopied from my journal. And then I'm going to take this old ledger paper that was another printable from Robin McClendon, and just kind of add a few tiny little clusters. That's all I'm going to do. But I like the way it all turns out, and to me, in my untrained world, it represents the sand in the Mediterranean, which is where he's at right now, at the north coast of Libya. Libya. I had to get my wits about me. Libya. So this is different, but it's okay. And it really actually isn't different, because it's me just gluing down dots and gluing down clusters. It's my favorite stuff to do. I'm a dotty cluster. That's what I am. Anyhow, I love how this worked out, and I thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.